up, everybody? Happy Monday. We are back with a brand new topic on this week's Facebook Live video series. Finally, we are transitioning out of talking about transitioning from a dieting phase to a maintenance phase. I can't tell you guys enough how much fun I personally had discussing all of those major expectations, talking about how out of your comfort zone you feel when transitioning out of a dieting phase. But guess what? We've got more knowledge to share with you this evening, and I am thrilled because this is such a pertinent topic to every single person out there watching, including me. Why the heck are we so hungry at night? So before we dive into answering that question, I want you to comment below. A big yes. Have you ever caught your hand in the cookie jar, in the peanut butter jar, guilty, in the ice cream tub, or in the pile of candy sometime after the hours of 5 or 6 p.m.? Come on, let me hear it, a big capital Y-E-S in the comment section below. It happens to the best of us. I mean, just last night, I caught myself enjoying a few too many Cadbury eggs. But hey, my disclaimer there is, they were cream, or like cookies and cream filled Cadbury eggs. Unique, I had never seen it before. I had to try a couple extra. But anywho, why do we feel so hungry after we get finished with the workday? You know, when we feel that ravenous appetite late in the evening, it can take over our mind and ultimately lead to us overindulging with not just hundreds of calories, potentially thousands of calories. Because not only are we likely to overeat compared to what we were supposed to or would usually eat, but those foods that we do gravitate towards tend to be high in calories because they're rich in carbohydrates, rich in fat. And that can send our daily total calories skyrocketing and completely derail the plan for the day and maybe have a significant impact on your total plan for the week. So why do we feel so hungry? Well, to further answer that question, we need to start with what happens at the very beginning of your day. And that is, you wake up rushed. Let's be honest, we wake up in the morning, or I should say most of us, dragging. You know, especially on a Monday like today, we are, not too excited to get to work, so we are going to maximize the amount of minutes we can get sleeping. So we literally just have to roll out of bed, somehow fall into our shoes, magically dress, showered, cleaned, and ready to go in as little time as possible. So we often start by skipping breakfast or getting some half-assed breakfast in. And by half-assed breakfast, I mean one that is with lacking protein and one that is low in fibrous carbohydrates. You know, grabbing a cup of orange juice on the go, half a bagel with butter or what's that? Cream cheese. Thank you. Whew. Or, stopping for fast food on the way into work or just nothing at all. So already we're setting the tone of a hungry evening. Why? Well, you're prolonging the time you spend without food. I mean, your body is continuously accumulating a level of, hey, give me calories. But additionally, even if we do choose some of those porous food options I just described, they're not going to work to keep you feeling sustained throughout the day. And anywho, they digest quickly, and they still may only be a little bit of calories. Now, you're at your work desk. You've just perused YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Maybe you even checked out the Nutrition Tactician's Facebook or Instagram. I don't know. I encourage it. Back on track. But before you know it, the clock strikes 9 and you're rolling. It's one meeting, one project, one call after the next. And shit, before you know it, it's 12 o'clock and it's time for lunch. Well, last night you were watching the game or watching your favorite show and you didn't do the best job preparing a meal. So you open the desk drawer and there's an apple, there's a little bag of almonds, and that's going to be lunch for the day because you don't have time to go out and grab lunch. You need to work through it to continue tackling the overwhelming amount of projects, meetings, and deadlines you have scheduled for the rest of the day. So at this point, we're past the lunch hour and we've eaten very little. Well, remember, food is fuel. Your body needs a continuous and consistent supply of fuel to get through the day. But because you're so busy, your mind is focused in 1,000 different directions and you never feel hungry. However, you have a range of calories your body needs daily to feel, or to not feel an overwhelming sense of hunger. And there's no way in hell you've met that total by having a porous or non-existent breakfast and a couple bites of something during lunch so that by the time you get home, you've got a couple hundred calories to your name. Well, where are the 1,000+ calories going to come from to fill the remainder of your day? I'm not sure, but that's why you begin to feel so hungry. Once the clock strikes 5 and you finally have a break from all of that stress and those to-dos, you are more relaxed. And finally, those hunger signals, those cravings, they dramatically increase. And all of a sudden, it's like you haven't eaten in days and you want to eat everything in sight. I mean, I swore just last week, I saw somebody at about 5:04 p.m. take a bite of their steering wheel because they were so hungry. People do crazy things, and you may have fallen victim to this and inevitably went on to eat a pint of ice cream, a bag of chips, or whatever you could find in your cabinet. So number one, you're not eating much during the day because you are so distracted or even focused on the task at hand. And number two, you ate a very porous breakfast that didn't set you up to feel full, satiated, or energized throughout the rest of the day. Another often overlooked staple to many people's day is caffeine. It makes the world go round. However, it also has a strong appetite suppressing effect. So the caffeine in your morning coffee or tea, in your afternoon coffee or tea, or in your energy drink, or in that chocolate you quickly snuck in during lunchtime, that caffeine has a strong appetite suppressing effect. So again, you're able to stay even keel during the day and likely able to get by on very few calories until that work day ends. So now we've got this very realistic picture painted about what happens between the time you wake up, roll out of bed, and by the time you finish the workday. You've had a non-existent or a protein-poor, low-fiber breakfast that did absolutely nothing beneficial for you. Then you had a day filled with meetings, appointments, calls, deadlines that ultimately led your mind to be in 1,000 different directions and not focusing on food, which, hey, during a diet can be pretty nice. Then you couple that with your multiple consumption points of caffeine, whether it's your morning or afternoon coffee or tea or energy drink, and all of these work in tandem to suppress your appetite. Building off of the busyness during the day, stress plays a very large role in affecting your appetite too. So I'm sure you guys are familiar with cortisol, the stress hormone. When we're stressed, cortisol levels skyrocket. And this is an innate survival reflex mechanism that triggers the fight, flight, or freeze response. And what a spike in cortisol does is can't speak this afternoon. It makes fuel readily available within your body. And one impact of higher cortisol levels is reduced insulin levels. So if you remember, insulin is the hormone that rises when you eat carbohydrates and even protein-rich foods because its goal is to bring blood glucose levels back down into normal range. Well, when cortisol increases and insulin decreases, you have a readily available supply of blood glucose. So your blood glucose is slightly elevated because your body thinks, it's primed for anything and everything to occur at that specific moment. It's ready. It's in a state of physical readiness. Well, those elevated blood glucose levels help to suppress your appetite. Again, so now we've got the combination of caffeine, skipping breakfast, and a busy day and elevated stress hormones leading to you not thinking about food for 8, 10, maybe even 12 hours until you get home. And it's a whole different ballgame. Now we're eating everything in sight. We're eating 2, maybe 3 meals, and our hand is constantly in something, whether it's a bag of chips, a carton of ice cream, the cookie jar, or a bowl of candy. Now, that or I should say those are 4 main reasons why you feel so ravenous in the evening. And I want you to sit back for a minute and reflect, okay, how does my day align with what Paul just described? Am I victim, or not victim, that's a harsh word. Am I guilty of indulging in one of those behaviors, whether it's skipping breakfast, overly caffeinating, or running amok in a state of busyness all day and actually forgetting to eat? Think about it. Are you engaging in one of those activities? If so, that may be why you feel ravenous when you get home from work. You no longer have the busyness, the caffeine has worn off, and you can finally think about food. Well, what do? That's what we're going to discuss tomorrow night. The purpose of this evening was to set the tone and make you aware of how your little habits throughout the day can have a tremendous impact on how hungry or not so hungry you feel in the evening. Now, some of you may be thinking, Paul, where's the actionable takeaway from this video? You always provide us with something. Well, my actionable takeaway for you is to just sit here tonight and reflect on your day. I'm sure you can remember a time, whether it was yesterday or even a few days ago, when your hunger was just out of control when you got home. Can you reflect and pinpoint on something that happened during your day that may have influenced that? And now, I want you to think, how can you better prepare to tackle that one specific point tomorrow so you don't feel an overwhelming sense of hunger when you get home? Because tomorrow, I'm going to ask you to share what the heck you're reflecting on right now. I want to know. I want to know that you're taking, oh, Mark, good day. I want to know that you're taking what you're listening to right now. You just pause whatever the heck you're doing to listen to me, so at least make the most of your time and think about, why was I so hungry this evening or yesterday evening? And what could I do differently tomorrow to counteract that hunger so I'm less likely to overindulge in hundreds, if not thousands of calories in one short sitting? Because you and I both know if we continue to repeat this behavior, we're not staying on track with our nutrition goals, and the scale may be going in the opposite direction we desire. The pants may become a little bit tighter than we had hoped for, and it's just no bueno with our ultimate end goal. One last point I think is very worthy of touching upon is back to that stress appetite relationship. I mentioned as cortisol increases, insulin decreases, so you have a lot more fuel readily available, and which may help to suppress your appetite. But people often combat that with, but Paul, when I'm stressed, I eat. And I've thought about this point a lot, because from a physiological standpoint, everything I'm reading and learning and sharing with you makes sense how you have more fuel readily available. Hunger is one of the last things on your brain's mind at a time when it feels like it's in a state of readiness for fight or flight. Oh, thanks for the like, I appreciate that. So why do we actually tend to overeat when we're stressed? You may think, Paul, I'm stressed all day and I want to do nothing but eat. Well, I think that stress eating is more of an emotional coping mechanism that we learned at a certain age. This is something that's really baffled me, and I've really been pondering it lately, is, why do people gravitate towards food when they're stressed? And food provides that instant gratification. It actually increases levels of dopamine, which is the feel-good reward chemical in your brain. And that's a completely different caveat related to the stress and appetite suppression that we're talking about now. And we'll dive into the physiology and the relationship between emotional, psychological connection with food in a different video, but know that there are 2 distinct entities I'm discussing. And right now, that state of busyness, that increased stress and cortisol I'm mentioning, is actually suppressing your appetite, which can be beneficial during a diet, but it may be the reason you're skipping meals during the day and feeling so hungry in the evening. 2 more awesome little facts to share with you guys, or a couple asks. 1, tomorrow at 12 a.m., so midnight tonight, I'm kicking off a 24 hours of transformation story sharing. So every hour on the Nutrition Tactician Facebook page, I'm sharing a transformation photo of one of my stellar one-on-one clients. And I'm so excited to do this. I'm going to get so many people's stories in progress out there. I can't wait for you guys to see it. But then, tomorrow night, bonus Facebook Live session, I'm answering any and every question you have about one-on-one nutrition coaching. Why haven't you signed up yet? What's holding you back? What questions do you have? What the heck does one-on-one nutrition coaching even entail? I'm going to share all of that with you tomorrow night and hopefully answer any questions you have so you can truly appreciate the benefit of what one-on-one nutrition coaching has to offer. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you liked what you listened to, if you're excited for tomorrow and the future Facebook Live videos, give this sucker a big thumbs up. And if you share this video and tag somebody below, send me a screenshot to my message or Facebook message, and I will gladly send you a free copy of my ebook, A Dietitian's Dozen Fat Loss Tips. So you just have to share it, tag somebody to watch it below, send me that screenshot, and bam, I'll send you that ebook in a matter of minutes. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow night.